Okay, so there's so much to talk about. To get right to it, I haven't done this in a while. I've been pretty busy shooting events, filming things, and just I've been out on my scooter mostly. That's what I've been doing basically since I got the thing in the middle of August. I haven't been shooting as much video, I haven't been editing as much video. And I've been doing these live performances. I should have been filming those, I realized. I've been on TikTok. That's kind of what I've been doing predominantly the last... Well, it kind of comes in waves because I run out of data usually about, 2 or 3 weeks into the month. So then I'm off TikTok and then I'm back, but I'm trying to build. I don't know. I've been recently having a weird amount of, I don't know if I'd call it success, but like I'm trying a lot of different things on TikTok, right? And the thing that actually a few of these videos that I made where it was me reading my poetry from like my book kind of got 60 likes. So I was like, okay, I'll do more of this. And I saw a video that made kind of a lot of sense about, because it seems to me the way that people use social media is kind of to like inform their interests. So they might search along those lines. For instance, at least this is how the algorithm on TikTok shows me things. It shows me a lot of like architectural, kind of like city planning things, because it knows that I'm into that stuff. And it shows me like film stuff, but like smart. There's this account, All the Right Movies, I think is what it is. They have kind of cool behind-the-scenes featurette stuff from movies. And so it responds, obviously, to what you spend the most time watching, what you like, what you engage with, what you comment on. But the content creators that kind of get through do feel a niche. Like it's like movies, or it's like city planning, or it's like this is a girl with, X, Y, or Z, or it's somebody with some physical attribute or something that they know is going to kind of like touch a nerve with you. And it's amazing how the algorithm kind of like just organically, it finds that stuff through the flow of basically you like nexting or liking the videos and whatnot. It is less, it's more like you're being served than the other apps. There's no scrolling. It's just boom, here's this, boom, here's this, boom, here's this. So you never run out, and it's always it's an intoxicating. Of all the apps, it's definitely the most, I'm hooked. Absolutely. And well, now that this might be part of how they hook you is I was surprised when I got that many likes on stuff, to be honest. I hadn't got that many likes on anything yet. And so I thought, okay, well, my niche, I don't see poetry people on TikTok, so that can be my niche. My niche can be books, writing. I can read my stuff. Ideally, okay, in a perfect world, this is where we're all at in life, professionally and everything. In a perfect world, okay, I could build up a following of several thousand people on TikTok who like hearing me read my poetry or like hearing me talk about, sort of miniature lectures about, but easygoing and funny and stuff. My idea before was much more just like, okay, well, I'll be frankly fabulous and people will just tune in because they'll want to see my take. But I don't know. I feel like initially you kind of have to like really identify yourself, I think, in a certain way. You can call that branding, you can call that, I think TikTok works more to my strengths, right, than Instagram. I've talked about it time again. I don't trust Instagram. I don't trust Zuckerberg or Meta and all of this bullshit. So I don't want to feed that. I don't like the way they manipulate us emotionally and trigger us, and that's what they're made to do. TikTok doesn't feel that way to me. It feels like it's trying to help you in a way. Like I mean, maybe that's just how it is now that it's in kind of the initial stages, but like the fact that I got 60 plus likes on some of my poetry stuff, I'm like, oh my God, maybe people are responding to this. And then I posted some more. I got some good likes on that. So yesterday I really overdid it. I think I oversaturated the market. I did 6 videos in the span of like a couple hours, and none of those performed well at all. My videos were getting kind of about 300 views, which is not that many, but I was getting a high percentage of likes. You know, I was getting 10 to 20% likes on that, which to me, that was like, okay, something is working here. I don't know what it is, but like, I'm going to keep doing this because this is what people are, and maybe this could be my niche, right? If I can blow up on TikTok, it's like, hey, there's the TikTok poetry guy. There's the guy that's like fucking goes wild on, and he's kind of interesting and kind of, you know, he's in the village. And so last night I went around the West Village. I filmed a video on Horatio Street. I filmed a video on Jane Street. Filmed one, you know, just at different locations in front of the Cherry Lane Theater, in front of the Lucille Lortel Theater, and of me reading. None of those videos perform well at all. As soon as I like put effort into it and try, I mean, I don't know why people liked those one videos so much, to be honest, as opposed to the ones that they haven't responded to as much. To me, I haven't really figured out. And the other thing is, well, should you try and follow that? You know, like, is that what artists do? Is just like, oh, they like this, so let's do it again. I don't know. I mean, I think TikTok kind of, obviously all the social media kind of perverts that stuff. So it's not really like you're a pure artist. It's kind of like you're selling yourself. I mean, especially on Instagram, it's so about being this sort of carefully curated in different, it's all still pictures. So it works for photographers, it works for artists like painters, visual artists, bands, not really that much, you know. I mean, kinda. I'm not, I don't like the way they jerk you around emotionally, so I don't even really open Instagram. I don't post hardly ever because I can't handle the the ups and downs emotionally. Whereas TikTok, I feel like, oh, okay, maybe it's just because they're rewarding me early on and it gives you like this adrenaline rush and you're like, oh my God, like something I'm doing is working, you know. But I haven't had some video that's got like 500 likes or 5,000 likes or like, you know, I haven't gone viral or anything. One video I had 1,200 views, but I think that was because I hadn't posted in a while. It was the first video I'd posted in like a month. It didn't get any likes, but I think like TikTok was kind of saying like, hey, come back, like get on TikTok, you'll get, you know. I think maybe people post less on that, like, because it's video, maybe people are still self-conscious, and it is definitely looked upon as sort of this youth, like it's for extremely young people. You know, even somebody like me, I'm not really supposed to be on it. I'm kind of too old. But I don't know. I don't feel that way. I just think that it's the best interface, to be honest, of all the apps. It's like if Twitter were YouTube, except you don't have to, you don't scroll, you don't refresh. It's not like totally curating. There's always something to see. And it isn't, I mean, to be honest, there aren't that many ads, hardly at all. And like, all of the content has value for the most part. I'd like to see some funkier, weirder stuff, but there's still a little bit of that. You see kind of obscure niche, weird stuff too. It's not all, you know, just like completely fake looking influencers and shit. I don't know. I'm gonna try to post. It says post 3 times a day. Actually, it said post 6 to 7 times a day, which is fucked up because I posted 6 times yesterday. The other thing about it is the returns are very delayed. You know, like Instagram, you know instantly when somebody likes something, who likes it, blah, blah, blah. TikTok, it's like you don't really get returns. It's almost like an election till the next morning. I posted these videos yesterday, and I knew, like, okay, I'm going to go to sleep, and when I wake up, then I'll have some indication of how the videos did. I don't know. They said Saturday's the worst day to post. It's just playing head games with me already. I don't know. You want a piece of the, we have to become influencers or die. It's basically that simple at this point. I'm still trying to tailor my sort of monologue style to TikTok, because right now I'm just like literally putting the camera rolling for 3 minutes and posting it. I do very little editing at all. And so the videos could be better. It's just because you're completely self-conscious about this window of time you have, and you have to pack the most value and the most sense. So you're just like, oh my god, is every little thing I'm saying like completely like impactful, and like, are people going to stop watching? I think what I need to do, obviously, is record videos like this, and then maybe kind of edit them. Edit the best 3 minutes and post that, right? I talk about politics, but I'm trying to sort of focus on poetry stuff, because I feel like that niche, that role hasn't really been defined yet. Let me be the first 35-year-old, 36-year-old poet on TikTok. Let me pioneer it. Let me be the Rupi Kaur, the Tyler Not Greg. Like Instagram, that's what Insta poetry was. Like, it was very like greeting card, and it looked like it had kind of a graphic fake authenticity, fake typewriter, fake spirituality. That played well to like mass audience. TikTok, I don't know. I think maybe my performance style could make the poetry accessible for people. We'll see. I don't know. Maybe I'm getting ahead of myself. It seems like it's a gold rush. I mean, I'm way late. I should have been on this the whole pandemic. I should have been on this literally since March 2020. It's something I could have done in Columbus and built a following there, because it does feel like, I do think that there's something nice about their algorithm or something. It does seem like it's trying to create a community of micro celebrities, rather than, and give everybody a little experience of what it's like to kind of be an influencer or be, kind of important or recognized or something. A lot of the content is extremely like local, which I think is cool, because it follows you wherever you are. But like, right, so I see a lot of people that are in New York, in my neighborhood even, or not necessarily my neighborhood, but like the Village. And so like, these people like live here, they're posting about it, they're amongst us, they're doing it right now. And I don't know, another like little subgenre of maybe this just for me on TikTok, but it's like these fucking people who are moving to Paris and sort of living like the Emily in Paris type dream. I'm assuming it's because they're influencers and they're making enough money. Like, they have 500,000 TikTok followers or something. I'm assuming that they make so much money doing this that it's like their job. That's how they're able to move to like incredible apartments in Paris, France. So I think it's kind of reorganized our society in a weird way. It's part of the new aristocracy and the new class structure. But it's also, there's a little bit of social mobility, and there's a little bit of like, you can make it if you try, I guess. Crypto feels sort of like that, I guess. It's like this thing that's just going bananas. I don't know. It's just, these things are being all hyped and put in your face by the media and shit. One of the other things that I like about TikTok, and I feel like it's kind of refashioning our sense of community, is fashion, right? All these Gen Z kids are super like flossy. They're wearing jewelry, and they have fucking earrings and like chains and cool haircuts and big nice sweaters and nice coats and shit. And it's like, because they dress for TikTok, and maybe they're fucking influencers. Maybe it's just because I live near FIT and NYU and all this Parsons and things that I see like people who are dressed up. Washington Square Park, obviously, there's a lot of fashion kind of on display, but maybe that's more of a Manhattan thing. I mean, once again, it's kind of this influencer class that's sort of infused the big cities. Maybe this is even a pandemic thing. You know, all these big cities had a little bit of a clearing out because people left because they were afraid, and now these apartments were open. So now these influencers who built up an audience and a career at 19 years old or something on TikTok or Instagram, they snatch up an apartment in Soho or the Village, or so you see, you know, in some ways I like that, and in some ways you feel like you're missing out, right? Like, it's nice that it's not just like fucking these extremely elite celebrities. Now it's like it's more tiered. There's like a trickle-down attention economy. I mean, there's still kind of superficial ways that the attention is distributed, right? It's still surface. But, I mean, that's one thing that I like about TikTok more is it's a little bit less hard to fake. Like Instagram, you can fake an entire fucking lifestyle because it's still pictures. Like Dan Bilzerian, or just rich people can pay to have social media managers and shit to make them look cool. TikTok, it's not you have to, you know, obviously you're moving your voice, it's a recording, it's a little bit less kind of like indifferent and kind of perfected. So I feel like, I don't know, obviously it remains to be seen what effect it's going to have on people's mental health. I mean, Instagram, I think, is proving to be worse, maybe, for people's mental health and self-image than some mass media, some aspects of, like, the mass media culture. Because it's so much more personal, and it just brings it everywhere. Everyone is sort of is examined and evaluated and defined. And our society does ascribe, like, value and rewards people for being good on Instagram, which, I mean, it's owned by Zuckerberg, man. Like, I don't want to feed that. So anyway, I'm still working on that. It's part of my video. I'm going to get back into editing the show. So what basically the big news recently is, well, for one thing, I crashed my scooter. So that kind of puts an end on Halloween. That might put an end to sort of scooter season. My brother is sending me texts that are like very like, those things are dangerous, blah, blah, blah. His girlfriend works in an urgent care, so I guess she sees, her, you know, horror stories every day of people crashing on fucking scooters. And I mean, the thing is, they're available everywhere. You see them in every big city. There's just these scooters laying around everywhere, so people can get on them without helmets. They're wasted. They're reckless. Like, I mean, I'm not reckless with it. I wear a helmet everywhere. Like, I stay in the bike lanes. I try to be off the street if I can. Like, I don't like to be amongst traffic at all. I don't take risks with the thing, you know. But I've been riding it a lot. I've put over 600 miles on it, I think. And I've literally been riding it almost every fucking day since I got it. And I don't know. I am experiencing, like, I sort of missed the pandemic, right? The pandemic was not fun for me. So, like, the last 6 months or whatever, since I've got to New York, have been sort of like, I've sort of been doing what I would have done during the pandemic. I've had sort of this layover, this pandemic layover, and this lag, where, like, you know, I should have done all this last year. Last year I should have been in New York, walking around the Village, doing TikTok, you know, buying a scooter, riding the scooter around, doing readings outside. Like, last year would have been the perfect year for that. Now it's like, I should have been beyond that. I should have been in venues. I should have been out there meeting people. I mean, it's starting. Everything is basically back to normal. So, I know for me personally, like, I'm going back to, like, pro mode. The last couple months with the scooter and doing these readings outside in Central Park and all over New York has been sort of just like an adventure. It's been a spirit quest. I'm, like, just absorbing and seeing it all, right? I'm just checking it. I'm tracking it all in, and I'm vibing with all the interfaces and all the environments. Spending a lot of time in Central Park, going to 59th Street Bridge, Sutton Place, Beekman Place, all over Manhattan. Just seeing it all. Places I haven't been before. Upper East Side, really getting to see that. Seeing the comic strip, seeing where Elaine's was. Going back to the auction house. And just living in Manhattan and sort of scouring the surface of Manhattan, you know, and running my kind of my body over its body, you know, via the scooter. The scooter has kind of been the predominant way, and it's been a beautiful ride. I mean, it's just like riding a bike. It's just like riding a motorcycle, you know. Probably sooner or later, like, you're gonna crash. Like, I crashed my bike, I think right around when I started my TV show, 2014. I still have, like, a little bit of a scar on my shoulder and my elbow because I kind of got, I mean, I didn't hit my head. That's what was so bad about this. I really landed on my shoulder and my head. I was wearing a helmet, though, so it wasn't that bad. Okay, so what happened was, I've been just getting a little bit more confident because a little bit at a time I've been sort of like being introduced to people and sort of, you know, and having little conversations and having nice interactions. So I've been getting a little bit more confident on Halloween. I've been shooting these events. Halloween, I went out after the event with some of the people. We had a good time at that bar in St. Mark's next to Theater St. Mark's. I don't know what it's called. They have absinthe. That's what I remember it for. It's an absinthe bar. Barnacle Inn or something like that. I don't remember. So I felt like, okay, like, I can do this. I was getting more confident. Okay, I guess where it started was on Friday, I ran out of weed, and this guy I've been buying from is so great in Washington Square Park. I won't mention him by name, but he's got great deals. I trust him. And in Washington Square Park, you never know what you're going to get. A lot of people are trying to rip you off, and a lot of people just sell you shit. And so this guy I trust, it's a great price, and I went to Washington Square Park like all these times, and he wasn't there. He wasn't there, and he wasn't there. He was at this, it was Halloween, and there was this festival, Rolling Loud Festival. So I saw through Instagram, he's like at this festival, so I'm like, okay, fuck. I don't know where I'm going to get weed, it's Halloween. And so I go through Washington Square on my way to the reading on Halloween, and I'm walking around, the guy's not there, and I'm, you know, it's getting cold. So a lot of people are, you know, a month ago, Washington Square was like a fucking open-air bazaar with all these booths and all, you know, hundreds of people selling weed. People selling art, people, you know. And now that it's getting cold, it's like there's like 6 tables of, you know, 3 of them selling weed. And so anyway, I go up to this guy. This one guy's selling pre-rolls for $10, I think. Should I do that? And I'm thinking, no, I just want to get this over with. I've been coming to the park like every day trying to find weed. Like, let me just buy some. Like, the dude's not coming back. I just need to buy some. I don't want to come back here again. Because I'm going to Washington Square Park like every day looking for this guy. Because I'm trying to save $10. So anyway, this other guy's like eating a piece of pizza. And he's got the weed in one hand. He's like eating the pizza in the other hand. And this guy's standing next to him, and he looked kind of, I don't know. He was like a taller dude, and he kind of looked, I don't know. He looked kind of sketchy, I guess. And the dude's like, I'll sell you this bag for $30. And it's like a pretty good amount of weed, and I smell it. I'm like, okay, it's $30. Like, let's just get this over with. Like, there's nobody here. This other guy's at this festival or whatever. Like, it's Halloween. I just need to get this done. And so I'm like, I'm like, I'm gonna go to the cash machine. I'll be back. And I sort of walk around and I ask a few other people like how much, and I can't find a better deal. So I go back to the guy and I only have $27. I forgot I had like bought something, and so I'm like, oh fuck, I'll go to the cash machine. He's like, no, just give me 27. So I'm like, sure, and he's like, yeah. So I give him $27, and he gives me the bag. I'm like, sweet, he gave me a deal. And so I'm like, problem solved, whatever. It's more than I usually pay. I usually pay $20. That's how good of a deal this is. This guy usually pays, it's $20 for an eighth, and it's pretty good. So that's the deal I was hoping to get. So $30, I'm already like, this is not a good deal. I'm paying more. This better be good. And it's like, so anyway, I kind of find out over the course of the weekend that it's not. It's really bad, actually. And in fact, it kind of makes me angry. Like, I'm smoking and I'm like just getting mad. I'm like, this doesn't make me high. This just makes me like pissed off. I don't necessarily think it affected my coordination per se, but like it wasn't like putting me in a happy place by any stretch of the imagination. It was like making me just like pissy and angry. And I'm smoking, I'm like, So it's maybe affecting my manifestation, who knows. So anyway, I see on Halloween, my hero, who I won't name in the video because I don't want to embarrass them, is doing this thing. They've been doing, throughout the whole summer, they've been doing this, like, Save East River Park thing, because the city has this really dumb plan to cut all the trees down in East River Park to build a fucking wall against the rising sea levels, right? It's just insanely fucking stupid. And so there's been a series of protests this whole summer, and I've just been kind of afraid to go, or like I'll go and I'll kind of be like, oh my god, because I'm intimidated and shit. But like I said, I've been having this kind of like confidence building little interactions, and I'm starting to get through a little bit in a good way. And so I'm like, okay, let me just go to this. I'll just fucking go to this, right? Like, fuck it. It's the last. Well, the other thing, it's like the last one. Supposedly November 1st, they're gonna start to tear the park down because the city denied every fucking thing, and like, so it's like this is the last chance. This is the big one. There's like a big march. It's on Halloween, which like I mean, I guess we didn't have a choice, but like, I figured, this would be like the easiest way to just sort of like introduce myself to my hero and be like, hi, and then just see what happens, and just, me being somebody that's not coming out at it from inside the system, really. I'm not coming at it from a grad school, like, class where my teachers are introducing me to people. I've got to go out and cold call this shit, right? I went to a state school. I graduated fucking in 2008. I have a BA. So anyway, somehow I managed on fucking Halloween Sunday, like I've been out Friday. I forget what I did Saturday night. I think I did something. It was bad weather. The whole weekend was like raining, which sucked. It literally like rained the exact hours like you'd want to be out on Halloween. It rained like Friday and Saturday, like night. So Sunday was really nice. So I was like, okay, I'll go to this fucking protest. Like, what the hell? Like, why not just like face this? I'm here. I need to get this done. I don't know how long I'm gonna be able to work from the studio. I'm hoping as long as possible. But like, I need to get this going. Like, whatever's gonna happen, right? So it's probably something I should have did 6 months ago, or 4 months ago, or whenever these protests started and shit. I should have been a part of the whole process. So on Sunday, Halloween day, I wake up. I wasn't super on time. I showed up. They were originally going to meet in Tompkins Square and march over to the park. So I think I rolled into Tompkins around like 1 or something. I don't know. Fashionably late as usual. And there's nobody in Tompkins, so I proceed to East River Park. And I'm cruising down East River Park on my scooter. I rode my scooter. This was pre-accident. Got my helmet on. Got my PA system in my backpack. And I've been posting, I should mention, I've been posting on Twitter throughout my live tour of New York City of site-specific, one-time only poetry performance recitations. I've been posting every day that I do it, my overhead map, which I do GPS tracking of my route as I'm on my scooter and as I'm sort of making my way through Central Park or wherever I'm doing these readings. And I post maybe a brief caption that's sort of about what I did that day, where I did it, or something. So my hero follows me. They might see this. I don't know. Who knows? But they're maybe vaguely aware that I have a portable PA system and I do like readings or something. I'm not sure. So I've got that on my backpack. I'm listening to music on the way down because now I'm one of those guys. I've got Bluetooth on my phone with Spotify. So I'm playing music through my PA while I'm riding my scooter, thinking I'm real cool. Broadcasting, That was probably part of why I crashed, to be honest. The music was a little bit... It's like a little bit of a distraction. Because the thing about these scooters, you really have to have both hands on the handlebars. You can't even take one hand off the handlebar, or the fucking thing is going to, completely wobble and you're going to crash. And that's what happened, basically. I took my hand off to turn the volume down on my phone. That's probably why I was like this, and why I landed like this. Because I fucking had my shit, and I lost control, and I boom. So anyway, I'm making my way down East River Park on my scooter, and I find, but right by the Williamsburg Bridge, that's where the protest is gathered, and there's probably 100 people or something, in a group, and somebody's got a bullhorn, and they're talking to the bullhorn, and I don't know, I've gone to a couple of these. I went to one of them at City Hall, and I felt like a warmth from my hero. Like, we kind of made eye contact, and I kind of smiled, and they kind of smiled, and it was kind of like, okay, this person, kind of recognizes me, and, they're welcoming me. I'm safe to, say hello, and this is something, we can talk or something, I mean, this was a big thing. I've been building this up for fucking years. Literally for probably 5 years. I've been imagining... It's almost like a Rupert Pupkin, Jerry Langford situation. I've been thinking, okay, and I want it to be perfect. I've always been delaying it because, I want this to be absolutely perfect. It's just stupid. It's just insanely stupid. So I just thought, let me just do this. You can't force things. I don't know. So I'm at, the protest, and there's, hundreds of people, and I forget how, but they kind of made their way sort of over to me, and they're kind of looking at me, and I'm looking at them, and I'm smiling, and they kind of smile, and I go, hi, I'm Matt, and we shake, and they go, hi, and I go, nice to meet you, and I didn't say anything about, poetry or their work or this. I didn't say much of anything, really. I said, thank you for doing this. Because I do care about it. I'm not just showing up because it's I have some kind of modus operandi. It is an amazing park. And, to be honest, it is the last part of Manhattan, definitely downtown, that feels that way. It feels like... the fucking East Village from the 70s, 80s. I mean, it's I could go on a whole spiel just about it, but I do care, and it's It's fucking insanely stupid, and I want to support it. The only reason I haven't been doing the protests, for one thing, I've been off doing my own thing with my reading tour of just kind of like the wild. But for another, it's like I've just been intimidated, right? I mean, to be honest, before I got the scooter, it was hard to get over there. Like, East River Park is not that close to here. It would take me an hour to walk there. The scooter, I can be there in, 15 minutes, 20 minutes. So I'm like, thank you for doing this, I didn't want to seem like I was opportunistic. I just wanted to be like, I totally am here to support this. I totally, I wanted to make that clear, and then I was going to maybe move into a discussion of, first I was going to try to talk about the park probably and just sort of make conversation about the park. We didn't really get that far. I said, thank you for doing this. And they said, you're welcome. And then they said, we're going to go over to the amphitheater in a second. But my friend is doing this ritual with the tree. They really love this tree. They really, they wanted to, spend a minute with it. And the tree was, there was a little moment because I was smoking this bad weed. Well, partially I wasn't, part of the reason why I was able to do it all, I think, is because I wasn't really high. If I was high, I may have just gone, oh my God, I got to get out of here. I don't know. Maybe it would have gotten better. I don't know. But I had this little moment when they said that about the tree where it wasn't even like, I wasn't even like critical of it or judging it. It was just some kind of like weird reflex because I think of just like not being that social, right, during the pandemic and sort of, to be honest, I haven't reconnected with a lot of people. I don't socialize that much, so I'm not really that open. Any kind of conversation is kind of like a little bit new to me right now because I don't talk to people that often, and I haven't really actually especially since I've gotten the scooter. I basically ride it around. I read my poetry outside and come home and shit. Like, I go to readings. I talk to people there. Not that I'm afraid, but like, there was a little moment of like, I think I felt like this like clenching of like, like, oh God, what am I going to say? What am I going to talk about? And I think they got that energy and felt that kind of tenseness. And I'm not sure what went wrong or what even happened. But I was like, oh, beautiful. That's beautiful, And I looked at the tree and I remember having a moment thinking that's a beautiful tree. It really is. It was a nice tree. It kind of like curved with the bridge and it had a nice healthy pallor. I mean, those trees over there do a great job. They're like sponges. They're vertical lakes. They're standing lakes. They suck up the water. That's why it's so insanely stupid they want to cut them all down. Like, build a fucking wall on the freeway, right? Like, you're going to have to rebuild that shit anyway. Like, keep the goddamn park. The only reason they want to get rid of it is because rich people don't like it. Rich people want it to look like Domino Park. They want it to look like Brooklyn Bridge Park. They don't want it to look like Curtis Sliwa's New York, like some kind of fucking The Warriors or something. It's got a lot of soul. It's got too much soul for those people. There's hand-painted murals and shit. It looks kind of like a poverty place. In a good way. I mean that in a good way. In a beautiful way. In the way that things sort of take on a life of their own and become handmade and just are left alone. That's when the good shit happens a lot of times in our system. When the community can kind of take ownership of, especially in Manhattan. Like, you're not having that anymore. Hardly at all. Not right now. Now it's the opposite. It's crypto. It's ultra rich. Like I said, it's influencers. It's the cream of the cream. And who's there? Frankly, fabulous. And so, I was just kind of smiling and standing there, and I was just trying to, like, I'm squaring up, I'm toe to toe, I'm eye to eye, I'm being as brave about this as I can be. Like, this is literally like my hero. I know that's stupid, but like, it's for a reason. I feel like there's just a lot of things to talk about. I think there's a lot of commonality, and I want to explore that. I mean, I can't force that on anybody, obviously, and whatever happens, happens. It is what it is. You know, reality is different than the work. The work is different. And part of it is we do have kind of similar fashion. They've got like this jacket that's like this kind of ski jacket that's very similar to my blue kind of ski jacket. And their haircut, they recently got a haircut and these new glasses that are kind of round, and they're like sunglasses, and they're kind of intimidating. It's like a more severe look than they used to have, which was like sort of more shaggier and like horn rim glasses and kind of plastic frame glasses, which was like a little bit. And so now they look a little bit like almost like fucking James Joyce a little bit. Like that kind of like, you know, the round glasses. And also that kind of the obscurity of the eye. Like that blind, almost blind, but like blind seer kind of thing. Or like Ham from Endgame, Beckett's Endgame. Kind of like a Doctor Strangelove look. You know, like that round, but like shades. And then the hair is kind of chopped and kind of like, I don't know. Is it like mine? Or I wasn't trying to imitate them. And so I don't know. It was just like this intense vision. It's kind of these gray, you know, mirror glasses, the round, indifferent, almost like a skull face, and gray hair. Kind of Catholic and kind of like nunnish and kind of like intense in that way. Like my family, but more so. More like... And we shook hands. They had a wonderful hand, soft, nice. Something happened maybe. It was a beautiful place for that to happen on the banks of the East River. Lovely day on Halloween. How odd. So then, you know, it was friendly at first. I should have jumped in and said something smart, right? I just said, oh, beautiful, beautiful. And then what I said was, you know, I have a PA system, because they were talking through this little bullhorn, and I was like, you know, I just wanted to help. I thought, here's my thing that I have. Maybe I've got my scooter. They probably think I'm a fucking yuppie. They probably think I'm a rich fucking yuppie that's just like, hey, I just heard about you 5 minutes ago. I'm rich. I want to buy my way into this. Which is not the case at all. I don't know what they think. That's what's so weird about it. I'm like trying to figure out what the hell happened. And so I'm like, I've got my backpack, and I'm like, I've got my PA system. You know, like I can, if you need it, and I zip open the backpack and I sort of show them the PA. There's nothing in the backpack that they would have seen that I need to be like, oh my God, they saw. But there was, I don't know what it was. There was something about that they thought was like, that. I don't know if it was like they realized who I was. Like I said, with my Twitter thing, and like I was like reporting that I was doing these readings with this wireless PA and, you know, my GPS and stuff. Maybe there was something about my Twitter that they realized, like, oh my God, it's this guy. Oh, I got to get out of here. Not this guy. I had a tweet the day before that may have been construed, although it was not intended in any way, shape, or form as sort of making light of the idea of pronouns, which was not the intention. My tweet was, and this has been an idea I've had for a while. I don't know why I tweeted it the day before. Maybe this had nothing to do with it. I really have no fucking clue what happened. But there was something that happened that made them immediately go and not want to talk to me and avoid me from there on. And I think it was showing him the PA. That seemed like the moment where they're like, okay, I'm done with this guy. Maybe it's because I wasn't being authentic. I don't know. Maybe they just didn't like that. I probably should have said something different, maybe. If I could do it again, I probably would have. So I showed him my PA, and I'm like, oh, my tweet was, I had a tweet where I said my pronoun is it, which was not meant to be like a joke about that at all. I think it's an interesting possibility. Why does nobody use that, to be honest? Because it is gender ambiguous, but it's also a pronoun. They, I like they. I think they is great. I like the plurality of they. They does feel like very future and very true. But I think it can also feel true. I didn't mean that. And it was also sort of a Halloween joke, right? Because of Halloween, the movie It, right? Pennywise. I was thinking about doing that for Halloween. So it was more like a language comment. It was not meant to like ridicule that. In fact, I think that's wonderful. I think that makes a lot of sense. I support the they, them thing completely. Like, I think it is also, I mean, you could say that it's sort of like, I don't know, depersonalizing or condescending or something, I don't know, but like, I didn't intend it in that way. It was just meant to be sort of like a hypothetical possibility. And like, I don't know, something to consider for myself even. If I think about the difficulty of the they, them is it is plural, so it can be confusing, whereas it is singular, but it's also ambiguous. That's why I said that. To be honest, I mean, I wouldn't say that my pronouns are he, him, per se. I wouldn't insist that somebody say that. I would accept they, them, definitely. I also like it. Matt Proctor is a poet. It lives in Manhattan. It's work, I don't know. It's just an idea. It's just an idea. That's all it was. That's all it was. I don't know if that's what it was. But, okay, so anyway, I showed them my PA. Maybe that was just a weird moment. Maybe that was like a psycho thing to do. I don't know. Here's my PA system. So I'm like, yeah, I've got a PA, if you need it, check it out. I thought it might start a conversation about, yeah, I've been doing these readings all over New York. It's great. And we might talk about that or something. Not as like a promo for me, but just like, you should get into this. This is an interesting idea. You're Eileen Miles. Like, get a fucking PA system and like, go to Tompkins Square and read your poetry. I don't know. I don't know what they're like as a person. So I don't, well, I just said their name. Fuck. Oh, well. So anyway, I show them the PA, and they're like, thank you. Yeah, maybe when we get over to the amphitheater, we might need it. We'll let you know. Something kind of like along those lines. That wasn't the exact wording, but it was basically kind of like that. It was like, okay, cool, Yeah, we were going to make our way over to the amphitheater, and then there was going to be performances and readings and this and that. And so after that, Eileen, well, my hero, kind of backed away from me. Kind of like, okay, that's enough. I don't know what happened. I don't know what connection they made or what weirdness kind of happened, but that was the end of the interaction, and they kind of backed away. And then so shortly after that, we kind of walked over to the theater, the amphitheater, which was probably, I don't know, a few 100 feet away or something. I thought we might have a conversation or something on the way. I kind of like turned around like, maybe we could chat or something on the walk. just make small talk. I thought I'd talk about the park, you know, just talk about the plans and this and that. And I didn't, it just didn't really, they were like, I don't know, they stayed pretty far back. So then I went over to the performance, the amphitheater. There was a lot of cool shit. There was, these people were rapping about Wet Ass Planet. That was pretty cool. This girl was dressed as the Earth and the guy was the moon, I think. It was all about, you know, climate change, how we're going to have a wet ass planet. And then there was just this or that, you know, people giving speeches. There was a little bit of an open mic aspect. I should have gotten up and done a little speech about the park and did my little spiel about the romantic sublime and all that shit, because I may have been able to sort of like win it. But like I said, I wasn't high and I had this kind of bad weed. I was just feeling like, well, I don't know. I was more just like trying to like support and just kind of stay out of the way, and just like I was trying to have as good an attitude as possible and be positive and not be like, if I wasn't wanted, that was the vibe I sort of got. It was sort of like I wasn't wanted or something. And so like if that's the vibe, then I don't get why I'm getting that, but okay. It was just weird how it went from like warmth and like smiling to like, oh God. I'm not going to talk to this person, you know, for some reason. I didn't get it. So I watched most of the thing, you know. It was a beautiful day. And, you know, that amphitheater's great. You can see the river through it. I really should have gotten up and did a little speech. It would have been, you know, I wouldn't have read anything, but I could have done a little 2 or 3 minutes just talking about the park and whatnot. I would have, that would have been, you know, that would have been honestly my first kind of public performance doing that. It would have been the perfect venue. But alas. So anyway, the thing just kind of, you know, sooner or later I just realized like, okay, I'm kind of done here. This isn't going to go anywhere. Like, I might as well just leave. The thing was kind of, you know, winding down. And I don't know. I couldn't tell what the fuck was going on. So I get on my scooter and I ride. And it's this beautiful little, there's this beautiful little park with these kind of long primrose with like some rose bushes and stuff on either side. It's like right on Cherry Street in the real Lower East Side. They've torn all that stuff out. Now it's like projects and sort of these big government housing buildings. That's what, you know, those are the people that use East River Park. That's why they want to tear it out, because they want it to be for rich people. They want it to be for tourists. They don't want it to be something, the locals. They want it to look like Tribeca bullshit or Brooklyn Bridge Park. The guy said that. He said, why can't we have Brooklyn Bridge Park here? It's beautiful how it is. It's wild. It's natural. So I don't know why I was getting that shade, but I got on my scooter. I think I smoked. I sat by the river for a second. I sat at this table down by the river, just smoking I rolled a couple of joints before I went of the bad weed that the guy sold me for $27 with the pizza. The guy eating the pizza. When I bought the weed from him, a little bit of the grease from the pizza like smeared my hand. I should have known. That was like a sign. Anytime something like that happens, it's like a bad sign. And I'm smelling the weed. It just smells bad. It's just bad. I smoke it. I just get angry. And so I smoke a joint and a half while I'm sitting there by the river. There's this really beautiful, under the Brooklyn Bridge, there's a beach. I'd never known this before, but literally directly under the Brooklyn Bridge, there's an underpass, you know, which is on the bike path. It was the first time I'd ever circled the Horn. I circled the Horn a couple times on my scooter in the days preceding, because I was sort of going to East River Park and trying to, you know, get involved before they tore it out, you know. So I would ride the scooter. I'd ride over to the river here and go all the way down the bike path and around to East River Park on the bike path the whole way, which traces the shore. And it goes under the Brooklyn Bridge which you can't get from, City Hall level. City Hall just goes right onto the Brooklyn Bridge. And there's a fucking beach there with like some seagulls and shit. So I'm like, oh, I got to do a show here. So anyway, I'm sort of around, I've been spending a little time around that area. That's one of the oldest parts of New York. It's one of the most interesting parts of New York, to be honest. Where East Broadway is. What's that other long fucking road? God, I can't think of the name right. Madison Street. They kind of parallel the river. That's like the old New York, where the South Street Seaport is. They ripped a lot of it out to put in, like I said, government housing and shit. But parts of Chinatown has that kind of cool feel, where the streets go all different ways and very like village feeling. Pell Street, of course, is gorgeous. So that part of Manhattan is very interesting. And you, as a pedestrian, it's hard to get over there. It's kind of sketchy sometimes, and like you just have long stretches of walking where it's like there's not really a whole lot going on till you get to the river or whatever. So anyway, I'm riding back over there's like this bridge over from where the amphitheater is into like where Madison Street is and Cherry Street and all that. And there's this nice little park with these rose bushes, and I'm getting on my scooter, and I'm just thinking, what just happened? Did I blow it with my hero? I mean, I'm partially thinking, like at least I did it. Like it maybe it didn't go like as I planned, but like what should I do? I did it, Was that it? Like, is that the end? Is that the beginning? What the fuck? On Halloween, no less. And so like I said, I've been playing music on my PA. I've just been a whole unit, I do these readings, and I've been pretty, the innocence maybe is over now. Because I've been riding all over Manhattan and just like, not like fearless, but like I'll ride down the middle of 7th Avenue, I'll ride down, And so I turned the music on. What song was playing? Fuck, I don't remember. I think Capital Air, Allen Ginsberg. I was like going to zoom out of there to this Allen Ginsberg song. And so I turn on the fucking PA. It's on, the thing's on. And I'm just starting to fucking scooter away. And like I said, it was kind of loud or something, so I reached over, because my phone is in my pocket, to like turn it down, because you just click the, the little button on the outside to turn the volume down. And as I'm doing that, I sort of like lose control of the scooter, and I'm just so disappointed in myself, because like I should have been able to break my fall. I should have been able to just like jump off the thing and like onto my feet. I think I was maybe wearing my boots, which are a lot heavier than my regular shoes. And that may have thrown me off. That may have thrown my balance. I don't remember. Because, like I said, it's like the beginning of winter and shit. I was distracted. I was trying to do this. Luckily, I had my helmet on. I shouldn't have been fucking with the music, obviously. But I was not going fast. I'm literally going, 10 miles an hour or something. I wasn't even up to speed, I was sort of just getting rolling. And, well, the thing is, I just didn't break my fall. The fucking thing I thought it broke or something. It literally felt like the handlebars, like, broke or something. Because it just felt like the thing I was resting my weight on, like, I lost. And so I I didn't really have the ability to, like, stop. I kind of just went boom like that. From my scooter straight down, my head fucking hit the side of the helmet. My shoulder, I scraped, my wrist, my elbow. It wasn't that bad. I mean, I was wearing a jacket. Any skateboarder, I'm sure, something like this happens to you twice a year or something. I haven't had a crash like I said, since that bike accident in 2014. But I kind of looked on it as a good omen. I kind of thought, you know, John Giorno has this thing that's like, you know, if you see a hearse, that's good luck. It means you're going to have a great day, right? But if you, well, I forget, if you see a, you know, newborn baby or something, that's bad. You know, you better, I forget what his example, it's something like that, you know. So I felt like, you know, I just met my hero, and I did it pretty much sober, and I stood and I just did it, you know. I just called. I didn't run away like I did every other time. Like I did it, you know, I did it. That was a scary thing for me to do, to be honest. That was like the most courageous thing I could do in life, to be honest, in a certain way. Like, this person's work means a lot to me, just as a, you know, as an artist. And, I don't know, maybe that's freaky. Maybe it is weird to have somebody that's sort of a little, you know, sycophant or whatever. I don't know. So anyway, boom, I go down. The helmet protected me, to be honest. Like, I didn't even get dizzy. You know how sometimes you'll hit your head and you'll be like, oh my God, like, particularly if you get like a fucking concussion or something, that sensation can last for hours and hours. I didn't even, you know, it didn't even knock my, I mean, I saw a little bit of like floating kind of spots in my vision for a few minutes. I had to walk, you know, for a while. I was kind of shook up. I kind of hurt my knee a little bit, my left foot. I think maybe hit the handlebars or something. So I would describe myself as being a little banged up. I was like banged up. You know, luckily I didn't hit my face or anything. You know, luckily, you know, the helmet took the whole fucking brunt of it. Even though, you know, I did have like my head's still sore, and I felt like a little bit. I mean, I probably got a very small concussion. Even though, I mean, I really didn't get headache or anything. The helmet, man. I mean, the helmet cracked. It's not super gnarly, but like, the helmet's done for. So I don't know. I got to get a new helmet somehow. Apparently, they're only good once. That's so weird to me. How can that be? How can it only be good once? What's changed? Not that much has changed. There's only one little crack. It's not a big deal. I don't know. I don't get it. But apparently, the helmet's only good once. So it won't shock absorb, I guess. Maybe it's just more science. I don't understand. So I walked, you know, basically all the way to St. Mark's Place. I just walked with the scooter, kind of up the Lower East Side. And then I got on and I rode it home kind of carefully. But I don't know. I was just processing, like, what the fuck does this mean? I met my hero. It didn't go that well. I don't know what happened. I don't know what I did wrong. And then I crashed my scooter for the first time. I mean, maybe it was just such a huge influx of energy. Maybe it was just such a, you know, maybe I tried to, you can't go direct with that kind of stuff. You know, maybe I tried to do something and I hadn't earned it. I don't know. Did I blow it? I don't know. Well, okay, so then what happened was, so I make it home. I'm like banged up. It sucks. It could have been worse, you know. Like, luckily, everything's pretty, as far as I can tell, you know, everything's pretty okay. I'm still, I kind of got a real bad pain, like here and here. Like my shoulder and my kind of like this. I think it's just because, like, maybe my shoulder blade kind of jammed in or something. I'm hoping I'll be fine within the next week or so. But then, so I wake up the next day. I think it was the next day. It may have been Tuesday. my brother sends me a text. My mom got into a car accident. She was driving to work, and it was like she was getting on the on-ramp, and, the shoulder eventually ends, and you have to merge. And the girl in front of her hadn't gotten over yet. So my mom had to get over real fast. And I'm not exactly sure what happened. She hit her brakes. The person behind her, hit her rear or something. So her car's totaled, right? And then the other thing was the police cited her. She got a citation as it's being her fault. So, her insurance won't pay for anything. It'll pay for the other person's car, basically, and that's it. So, she's out of car. Luckily, she's okay. She didn't have any major... Just like me, right? So, that was me and my mom. And then I get a text. I talked to her on the phone for a couple hours, She's doing okay. She's tough. She's a tough lady. But we're both kind of in the same... She's probably got whiplash, I'm sure. These things have crazy, kind of unexpected... it's a lot for your body to go through. I mean, particularly as you get older. So just, even, stopping abruptly can, really throw your shit out. And so, with my shit, it's it'll probably be a few more days before I'm, kind of back to normal. I don't know if I've got a fucking rib dislocated or what. If it's an internal thing, it's bruised, but it kind of feels like when you're a kid. When you're a kid, this shit's constantly happening. You're crashing your bike, you're skinning your knee, you hit your head, you run into stuff, you break an arm or whatever. That shit's pretty normal when you're a kid because you're having an adventurous life. You're riding a bike everywhere. You're running around. If you're going to do this shit, you can't expect to ride a motorcycle or a bike or a skateboard or whatever without, or a car for that matter. The car is just the default way of life in this country. And, think about how insanely dangerous those are. And, you're going to get into an accident sooner or later. It's only, you spend that much hour on the road, Well, my brother and I were actually talking about it a couple days before, just about how the drivers in our hometown are just insane. They've gotten so aggressive. They drive like they don't give a fuck at all. That's where they're at psychologically. They don't fucking care. They're living for today. That's it. And they drive aggressive as hell like it's a fucking video game. Like it's Grand Theft Auto. GTA 5. So, I mean, the other thing in Columbus is just those roads are too small for the traffic. There's way more cars on the road because there's no mass transit in the whole fucking town. So you don't have that much space as a driver. You've got maybe 10 or 15 feet, there's probably a car next to you. There's not a whole lot of ways out. It wasn't like that when I lived there. There's way more cars on the road now. So, I mean, granted, I'm taking a break from the scooter, definitely. I used it to go to work on Wednesday because it's just easier to zip over on the scooter. If I'm just going from point A to point B, it's pretty easy to control it. It's when you're kind of just going wild and making up shit on the fly. I was trying to multitask. You cannot do that on a scooter. Forget about checking your phone or any of that. You have to be, especially in New York City, you have to be completely attentive at all times. You have to see all the fucking traffic coming from everywhere. There's trucks, there's bikes coming your way, there's people walking, there's fucking birds and shit. You really have to be alert in every direction. You can't even look at somebody on the sidewalk at all. You will get fucked up, And I don't know, my brakes have gotten maybe a little bit too loose. The thing's gotten a little bit loose because I've been riding it hard. So, it was definitely okay, it was time for a timeout. It's the end of the season. That was more or less... I mean, I should have did a reading. I should have gotten up, and that could have been a great capper to my... And maybe that would have turned it around. I don't know. I was just in... I didn't feel like I was welcome, right? So I didn't want to push it and be like an asshole and be like, okay, I'm going to get up and talk, blah, blah, blah. But it was Halloween of all days. How fucking crazy is that? I went to the Halloween thing in the village that night. I wasn't that fucked up, you know, like, it was bad, but, like, I could still walk and shit, like, I didn't, you know, I'm not bleeding really or anything, like, I walked around the village. Sunday, Halloween, people actually dressed up, which was cool, so I saw a lot of that. I filmed some of that, I think. I saw a little bit of the parade. I love the parade. It's one of the best things of the whole year. But just what a strange thing. I met my hero on fucking Halloween. I got into a fucking scooter accident. Jammed my shoulder. Hit my head. Bumped my head. That's what happens when you try to fly too close to the sun, I guess. I don't know. That's part of it, man. Like, if you reach for the real shit, like, there is a price to pay. Comes out in funny ways. And then my mom, right, I'm glad she's okay. And then I get a text the next day, my grandma was in the hospital. She had some kind of problem with her gastrointestinal. So she's fine, I think, but I don't know what was going on astrologically, but for those couple days, Jesus Christ. October 31st, November 1st, November 2nd, like, for the certain strain of, the Matthews-Collins DNA, it was, something was going on astrologically between me and my mom and my grandma. Maybe it's an Irish Catholic thing. Maybe it's some kind of super deep down ancestral fucking, I don't know. Maybe we're all, just goes back to the old country or something. So anyway, I was kind of taking it easy Monday and Tuesday because of fucking, getting fucked up on my scooter. So then Wednesday, I've got to film. It's probably one of the biggest professional days of my life because I'm filming the Alice Notley reading in the sanctuary at St. Mark's Church. I mean, it's huge. It's a huge, huge, huge honor, and it's a huge, huge, huge thing because it's. I mean, these are the master wizards. And it's historic, right? I mean, it's Alice Notley. She lives in Paris, France. She doesn't come to the United States that often. I mean, we just got out of a pandemic, for Christ's sake. Like, we've been waiting a long time. This reading was supposed to happen in March of 2020, and it got delayed because of the fucking pandemic. So we've been literally waiting a year and a half. I was supposed to shoot it then. Waited for the whole fucking pandemic to do it. And so I really wanted to do, my absolute best. But at the same time, I wasn't making a whole lot of preconceived notions about how that might happen. I was just like, luckily I've been doing a few events, and I've shot in the sanctuary before, so I kind of, know the deal. I know a little bit about what the setup's going to be. And so I've got some idea. And also, I just think this form that I'm working in, where I get to film the whole event and post the whole event, I just think that works better for me. Because my equipment is not set up to get little highlights. I really need a better lens. I don't have it, but I can film the whole event and sort of make it... I can bookend it with B-roll that sort of opens it up and shows the context and makes it cinematic. And I like the whole reading. To me, to give the whole reading a filmic look, it is a film, right? And so to give the context to show the B-roll, I mean, specifically in this instance, like I said, it's a historic thing. I mean, all of the Berrigan's Notleys are there. I mean, including his grandchildren and stuff, which is really special. So I wanted to make a nice kind of record of it because it is a big thing. Like, Alice Notley's the fucking, one of the eminences. Absolutely, abso-fucking-lutely. One of the absolute top. She's she's on Mount Olympus, no question. And of course, Ted was there. Of course. It kind of reminded me of, I shot this event in Columbus at it was the La Senza holiday party. And it was actually around Halloween. I think was it a Halloween party or was it a Christmas party? I think it was a Christmas party, but it was like right after Halloween or something. It was around this time because it was like we literally shot it and edited it in one night. Because it was just like, and I edited it. I threw it all together because it was just like so on. And that's when I kind of realized that like event videography was kind of like, I don't know, my specialty. Making these sort of like little living documentary movies of, like typically it's like weddings, but this, right, was a party. It was their company party. So they fly in the model, all the VPs are there, everybody's dancing, there's a DJ, they rented out Boma, which is this really fancy club. Everybody drinks for free, like, it's your reward for like working hard all year, right? And so we shot this video, and it was kind of like this amazing like flow state thing, where it was just like everybody was kind of on. We shot this incredible B-roll. The lighting was incredible. Just like everything clicked. It was in this old church, which was an amazing environment to shoot in. The lighting was on, and the Alice Notley reading was almost like it felt very. I mean, just like when I came home to watch the footage afterwards, I was like, I had certain things that I didn't even know what I was shooting, and I'm looking and I'm like, oh my god, I can't believe I got this. Like her. I mean, you just have to watch it. It's like there's a lot of generations of lineage there. Her children, of course, but also her grandchildren and the future was all there. I mean, not to be, this is just part of like the work and understanding the work, because the work is sort of so bound up in the personalities and the place and sort of the lives. But okay, so part like Ted Berrigan's grandson by his first wife, Sandy. A lot of his kids are on Instagram, and they're just kind of normal people. They're not necessarily poets. I don't know what they do professionally, but like they're not like his other children who are like professional poets and like really involved with that. But Sandy and Ted Berrigan's grandson, I don't know his name, but he's like really into art. I think he might even live in New York. I think a couple of them live in New York. And he's really a talented visual artist. I don't know how old he is. He seems like he's kind of around college age. But I find that very exciting. That like not only are the Berrigan Notley children fantastic. I mean, they're my favorite poets, to be honest. The whole family. Like they are like, not to be corny about it, but like they're the royal family of fucking, of American fucking poetry as far as I'm concerned. Like, and so to shoot this reading is just a huge honor, and it's a responsibility, but it's I want to do a good job. I want to get, I was there to work. I was there to fucking get everything I possibly could and make it, a comprehensive document of who was there, the conversation, and it's sort of like a little bit of a version of my Lives of the Poets show, right? I mean, I'm not getting fly on the wall. I'm not exactly hearing what they're saying, but you're seeing the living, there's a New York school, you know? There's fucking Alice Notley, and everybody came out. You know, this is after the fucking pandemic, and to even be there, I feel very lucky, right? Like, it's been a long way. So I ride my scooter over to film it. I've got my fucking tripod, you know, my Manfrotto, my camera, all of it on my back, strapped, riding the scooter, and I think, okay, I'll ride through Washington Square because I've got this terrible weed. I think I'll let me see if my dude's in Washington Square. It was a nice day, you know, it was like pretty nice. And I saw he had posted something to Instagram, so I'm like, let me see if my dude's in Washington Square. And sure enough, as I roll through before the reading at like 5 o'clock, my dude's there. So I'm like, do you have any of those $20 eights? And he's like, no, but I remember you. So now he added me on Instagram and shit. And he's like, we have $25, you know. So I'm like, okay, I'll do that. And that's what I've got right here. And it's good. I trust this guy. He's good. He's just a nice dude. You can just tell. He's got good energy, right? So I picked that up on the way to the reading. I go and I'm shooting the reading. And, you know, I've got to feel my way into it and do my thing. The Sanctuary is hard to shoot in for me because I don't have the right lens. And the problem is I don't want to use my wide lens is really not bright enough. It's way underexposed. So if I shoot with that, I risk losing everything from it being too dark. But it's also like if it's too wide and I have to stay wide because if I go in any closer, the aperture, everything gets too dark. I'm already on 3200 ISO. So, you know, if I blow up the exposure in post, it's really not a great image. So, but if I stay extremely wide, it's like I'm worried the fucking person is going to be this big in the video and it's going to be like comedically small or something. So I use my other lens, which is more of like a here, but it's like, then I'm locked into that for the whole time. I can't go back and forth. So I've kind of, I do the best that I can with the tools that I have. You know, if I was rich, I'd have some super rig, but literally my rig costs like $500. So I'm doing the best that I can, and I'm doing it the old-fashioned way, by the bootstraps. You know, I'm not one of these ultra rich nouveau influencer New Yorkers. I'm more like the kind of old school way that Ted Berrigan and Alice Notley did it, where they had no money. They're borrowing money from everybody to buy milk and shit. They write about it. It's in all their poetry, you know. And so I'm there to work, and I'm looking around like a hawk, and I'm trying to make sure that I capture everything I can. But, okay, so one of the things that happened, well, I should mention first and foremost, I've got my shit set up kind of in the right chair that I need. I'm in the second row on the aisle. The way I figure, I'm like, that's with the lens I have, it's the perfect kind of like framing. It's the best seat I can find in the whole place for my, purposes. That's like one of the incredible perks of being the videographer is like I get to choose exactly where I want to sit. And, I get invited to a lot of the best stuff, So, what an amazing opportunity, I'm so thankful for that. So, anyway, I put my coat on the chair and my bag underneath the chair to mark my chair, second row on the aisle. And I'm like, I've got my tripod and my camera, and I'm sort of jumping around filming stuff, and Who do I run into first and foremost but my hero comes in. And there's a weird moment where, like, I didn't know if they were going to recognize. I figured they probably wouldn't say anything to me. And there was a moment where they sort of, like, acknowledged me. And they said, hello. And I said, hey, how you doing? And I don't know. I'm not sure what the tone was. The tone on their part was sort of like, I recognize you, and I know who you are, and like I'm sort of like trying to be like a little intimidating, and like I'm not gonna engage with you, but I know who you are, and like maybe not in a good way either. like I know who you are. I'm not gonna talk to you. I'm not gonna help you out. And I don't know what they thought when they walked in and they see me there with a camera, for Christ's sake. Are they thinking, who invited this guy? Why does this guy have a fucking camera? I don't know. It's kind of a weird position to be in, but I don't really think about it. I mean, it's not a weird position to be in. Like it's my job, and like I'm trying to record it for posterity because I know that this is important. And I know that this footage is important. And it's, you know, it's important for them. How many more times are we going to be able to do this? Are these people going to be able to gather in this space, in that kind of core of people, right? With Ann Waldman and Vincent Katz is there, and Patricia Spear-Jones is there, and, you know, Leanne Brown is there, and kind of all the... Greg was there. John Godfrey, of course. And so there's not a lot of video of this, to be honest, right? Certainly not a lot of good quality stuff. There's a fucking film from like 1980, and then there's some very crappy camcorder stuff on YouTube. It's not crap. It is what it is. You know, it's nice. I like it. But like, if I can shoot something that's like a nice quality and actually capture this while it's here, like I want to do that. You know, that's important to me. I know that it's important to fucking the history of poetry, you know? Like, that's what I'm doing it for. And I feel lucky and like I'm very blessed and I'm thankful to be able to do it, you know, to be in this position, you know. So I want to do a good job. So I don't know. I said, "Hey, how you doing?" And kind of the most like I was obviously I'm thrilled to be acknowledged. You know, like that's cool. They recognize me. I mean, we're all wearing masks. I was looking pretty good, though. I mean, I did dress up a little bit because of TikTok. And also because it's Alice Notley, of course. You know, she deserves the absolute best. I mean, this was a huge, huge, huge event. And it was a big... I mean, Alice Notley is a medium. Absolutely. The messages and the music... and the intelligence, the fucking genius, the brilliance, the seer. She's a seer, absolutely. Like, she's telling us, like, crucial information that no one else has about our world today. Like, she's absolutely working at the highest level. There's no question. She's better than Shakespeare. She's as good as Shakespeare, definitely. I think one of the things that is great about Alice Notley is, and I don't know if this is because of the circumstances of her life where she kind of lives in Paris away from, you know, like United States literary culture or whatever way of life, but like she has produced like how many books of just like fucking incredibly thought out, developed, finished, realized. All of her books are like these individually realized kind of concepts. They're all kind of different. They're all experiments, and they're all like, they have the utmost integrity, and obviously they're all working at a very high level. Like, they're all different. Culture of One is different than The Descent of Owlette, which is different than Mysteries of Small Houses, which is different than Negativity's Kiss, which is different than, Manhattan Luck, which is different than, like there's just so many of them is part of the point. Is like they're almost like certain of her books are like Cormac McCarthy novels. They're almost like these like gothic westerns, but they're that good. They're that intense, and they're that. I think she mentioned something about how she got into Iowa because of fiction. She was a fiction writer initially. I think a short story she wrote or something. And I was reading an interview, and she said something about how Faulkner. She opened up As I Lay Dying. And she was like, oh my God, all my tricks are in Faulkner. It kind of scared her. Because she read that in high school. I thought that was kind of interesting too. Like a lot of her books are like not like Negativity's Kiss I really liked. It's almost like a pulp novel. But like in that French, almost like a French New Wave type novel. I mean, there's so many of just standalone works. That, most authors, even though they might have a lot of activity where they're doing readings or they're in the media, they don't actually produce that many. That, like Alice Notley, there's going to be an entire shelf of stuff that's like, this is going to last the test of time. This is going to stand the test of time. Like, 100 years from now, people are going to be like, yeah, all of this is fucking, in the same way that they do with, like, I don't know, Henry James or fucking Nathaniel Hawthorne or whatever, Melville. It's like, yeah, this is all fucking, Kerouac to some extent. I mean, his stuff is a little more hasty, but it's a similar thing. He's got like a shitload of books, right? And they're all kind of individual and different. I mean, now Alice Notley is really able to like compose it and get it together and make it good and unique. They're all different. And she's able to say shit that is smarter than everybody else, Very often in her writing, she'll say things that are just like blisteringly intelligent. That almost nobody else can even do that. So, and just talk about doing it all and having the life. I mean, just the fucking people she's known and the things that she's seen and places she's been, and it's just like that kind of realness and that humanness and that analogness, pre-digital. I mean, living through the 60s, with Ted Berrigan, fucking going to Bolinas, getting to know Philip Whalen, all of it. Jim Carroll's ass. She wrote a piece about Jim Carroll's ass. She was in New York in the 60s. She knew everybody, right? So I'm trying to do these oral histories at the Poetry Project, which would be something like this, except with nice photography, and of the poets, where I just film the poets talking about whatever the fuck they want. And Alice Notley obviously would be like the dream guest for that. So we're trying to arrange it. I'm not sure if it's going to happen, but I mean the video that I was able to get, I just filmed everything I can when I was there. And the setup was weirdly like that Boma place too, where there's like, I went up to the balcony, I was shooting down from the balcony. I just wanted to get as much footage as I possibly could while it was happening of these people in this room, just like the context, the moment, all of it, because this is kind of like the lineage. This is the New York school. I mean, there it is. Partially a big inspiration for me was those Alex Katz portraits. He's got these portraits of like New York rooms where it's like just some like really fancy black tie cocktail party, kind of like late 50s, early 60s, like Frank O'Hara, like MoMA, like who's the guy, I forget who, like, the director of the moment. He's got this incredible name. But just, like, really fancy people at the... Like, Morton Feldman is there. And Frankenthaler and, you know, maybe Tibor Dinaj or Castelli. Leo Castelli is there. You know, just, like, the really fucking Rothko or... just rooms full of people in, like, suits. Kind of a little bit of that Mad Men, but just, like... But they're very, you know, they're kind of like these panoramas of milieus, people talking at cocktail parties. I mean, that's what the Poetry Project is really two things. Well, I mean, at least the events. There's the reading, but then there's the mingling. That's like as much of it. That's as much of the story, and that's as much of the event, I feel. And so showing who's there... It's like a party photography. It's like Cobra Snake. It's a little bit of like a column. I do feel like I'm Ouija or something. I jet around on my scooter with my camera, trying to film, you know, different goings on about town. And, you know, my compositions, I'm doing these pans and these kind of like, those Alex Cat cutouts too. He did a lot of portraits of poets, right? He did a lot of paintings of poets. And his cutouts and things are like... I don't know. I saw one at a gallery not far from here a few years ago. And I don't know. They were just really impactful. I like his style a lot. Because it's like... It's simple, but it's sophisticated. The colors are just absolutely beautiful and rich. You know, it's got sort of that, like, somewhat... pop art or like cartoon friendliness, but it's more sophisticated and kind of intelligent than that. You know, he doesn't go completely into. I mean, it's portraits of people, you know, but they're a little bit more. I don't know, like primary in a way. But they retained, you know, the painterly, you know, the stroke and the color and the light is a big part of it. So I don't know. This is what I'm thinking as I'm filming this stuff, and I'm just trying to film as many different shots, as many different angles while it's happening without overstaying my welcome. You know, it was an important gathering, important listening, an important congregation for the people in that room to hear that and be a part of that, you know. So yeah, I filmed what I could, and I had a nice... I mean, Alice Notley was walking by us to go back to the thing, and I said, I kind of did this, and I bowed, and I said, thank you, it was amazing. And she kind of smiled and laughed. So, we had kind of a nice moment, sort of. I mean, even just getting to film that. Like, the light was beautiful. My friend was telling me afterwards, because I think they were supposed to have, like, a more complicated lighting setup. I liked it. It was way old-fashioned. They just used the kind of church lights. They didn't have, like, some kind of fancy theater with, like, gels and stuff. It was, like, it was just the, you know, the yellow kind of, like, primary. So it was a little more garage and a little more DIY and simplified, but I thought it really looked nice, actually. It was kind of a throwback in a way that, you know, wasn't bad. It kind of worked for it, I think. The church is iconic, right? So just the privilege of being able to shoot in there, and to actually, I mean, that especially is just like such a meaningful, you know. And the big reason why I do it is to broadcast it out. Like, ideally, you know, thousands of people would watch this. You know, I shoot it more or less. You could put this on fucking TV like a Netflix special, to be honest. Like, it's more or less the same form as, like, you know, I shoot a little bit of B-roll before the event of the crowd and stuff, the kind of who's showing up, you know, how many people are there, people milling about, show the context, show the room, the podium, getting ready. Maybe, you know, during the summer I was shooting the outside, the church, the steeple, you know, it's such an iconic thing. So I want to bring that to people, you know. Now, after the pandemic, you know, video has sort of melded. It's more involved with our life. It's more normal for us to kind of like experience live things online, to watch full concerts, to watch, and you can also post that stuff, right? Before we were just trying to post these little moments and it didn't really, you know, but if you post the whole event, it's like people might watch this for their class. You know, I mean, it's Alice Notley. It's like, this is a major thing. Alice Notley at St. Mark's Church. It's like, this is huge. So ideally, they'll be watching it in universities and things, you know. I'm trying to, I think if I just put it out there, you know, not everything, like certain readings are a little more niche, right? But like this, for instance, every once in a while, it's like it's a big thing. So it's like, okay, this is something that like could live for a while, you know, like a full reading of this online would be like a big resource just for anybody, right? I know that I would be watching it if I was anywhere but New York, you know. I would want to see what's going on. So I came home kind of high from it, you know, just from like running around. I really shot. It was like a big time event. Like I was running all over the place. I had my tripod. I don't know why I wasn't using the tripod. My B-roll for the stuff I shot in spring, I was doing all handheld, and it's kind of janky. I wanted that. My inspiration for that was more like the Jonas Mekas thing. I wanted to feel like film, meaning like shaky. Whereas the tripod just works way better. It's like, I don't have a lot of tricks, but being able to pan nicely is a good one. And so it, you know, this video, there's nice light, there's some nice shots. I'm hoping that it's kind of a success, because I'm almost done with it, and I'm very happy with how it's coming together. I just have to kind of load in the sound and fine tune the B-roll a little bit. You know, I don't want to, it's hard to tell because I want it to, it's partially for the archive and it's partially for like historical record, but it's also for online, right? And like, I don't want to overstep anybody's personal anything, but it's also just like, I think I'm trying to show something about poetry here, and just like who was there, who heard it, what it meant to them, what it may have, you know, it's going to affect influence and lineage and all this stuff. And I think I can break through, you know, like the scooter thing, and I think it's just like, these are kind of, this is just, I'm starting to like punch through a little bit here, punch through a little bit there, and I'm present in Manhattan in a way that like really helps, oddly. Like, I don't know, that's just that energy. You can kind of feel that energetically with how I come into interactions and things. You can feel that I'm not like I was somebody on the way periphery in some tiny room in Brooklyn or something. Like I'm more or less living kind of on the same footing as a lot of my heroes and the same kind of lifestyle and things, you know. And I don't know. So that's one reason why I need to get involved and start doing this, right? And so I'm trying to just like do what I can, you know. And it is scary because I've thought about this for a long time, and so confronting my heroes, and I don't know what I have to show anybody, to be honest, as far as like work goes or anything like that. Like, I'm trying to make shit happen on TikTok, and I've got my TV show, and I've got a lot of form and kind of like and ideas and things, but I don't know. Am I going to be respected by the heavyweights? I'm walking on the same planes. I mean, you know, like I'm filming it. I'm still like part of the service. I feel like I'm part of like the catering staff to some degree. Like I'm on the periphery and I'm just there. I did dress up, but I wore my black silky pants, which are work pants. And then I wore my nice red shirt that my ex sent me, which wasn't mine, but it's a nice shirt, so I wear it anyway. And then my blue shirt, which she got me, which is just kind of like the dressiest. I'm trying to be more like a stagehand where they wear all dark, you know. They wear all black clothes, so like I don't want to wear something that's like really going to stick out. So I rode my scooter over, you know. I didn't wait till like the very end. I could have hung around, I guess. But, you know, most people had left, so I thought I'd head out. I guess I could have stayed to the end. I'm still, you know, I'm slowly kind of like melting. I don't know. I'm trying to like be as friendly and involved as possible. And like I think it's starting to happen, you know. I love it. I love what I'm doing. I mean, what can I say? I couldn't be happier, to be honest. It's like, this is amazing. I'm trying to manifest more, you know. That's what it's all about. I've realized. I manifested a shelf the other day. I tweeted about it a few weeks ago. I tweeted manifesting a shelf. And yet on I don't know, Tuesday or something, I was walking to go get food, I think. And sure enough, there was a shelf about this high, beautiful, sturdy, kind of like my dark brown shelf. Beautiful fucking shelf. It's all there. Light, not super huge. I bring it back. I bring it upstairs in the bedroom. My books fit on it fucking perfectly. You know, my bed was surrounded by. I had stacks. There was nowhere else to put them. They're everywhere. They're overflowing everywhere. I bought a fucking shelf and a half of books since the pandemic started. You know, it's nuts. I wish I could just live here forever and just move all my books in. I'm so ready to do that. I just want to move everything I have here from Ohio. All my books for my whole life, bring everything here, and just let me live here forever. I love it so goddamn much. This is just like my dream come true completely. I'm so lucky. It's insane. I can't believe it. I'm so happy. And I don't know, maybe I need to take my writing more seriously. You know, I'm kind of doing everything but writing. I am writing, but like, I don't know. I read this piece, so I've been reading on TikTok. I read my handmade landscape piece. I thought it went pretty well. You know, I don't really write that way anymore. Maybe I should try it again. This is my writing. We've been over this. So then, okay, so I ride home. I kind of did a celebratory little jaunt around the West Village because I had battery. Even though I'm kind of injured, my shoulders fucking hurts and my leg hurts, and I got my camera equipment, I'm just feeling great because I'm like, oh man, that just went great, you know, like Eileen Miles said hi to me. Even if it was, I couldn't tell what kind of head game was going on. I wasn't sure what I did. I don't know. But they did say hi. And then they didn't talk to me at all or acknowledge me the rest of the evening. Oh, I forgot to mention, okay, so before the reading, this is a funny part of the story. Before the reading, I'm like, my coat is on the chair, like I said, in the second row on the aisle. But I'm jumping around the room filming shit because I'm trying to get B-roll and this and that, you know, of the event. And I'm across the room in the front of the room, and I think I'm talking to somebody, and I see this guy, I won't mention who, and he, I think I see him, he picks up my coat off the chair, and like throws it like a couple chairs over. I'm thinking, what? What the fuck? maybe the guy thought it was his coat or something. So I go up to him and I'm like, hey, I was hoping that, I was going to be shooting the reading. I was hoping that I could sit in this chair. I put my coat here. Is that okay with you? And he's like, no, I'm going to sit here, and I won't mention names, but so-and-so is going to sit here, and we're going to watch from here. And they're like older, and they're important within the organization. Let's just say that. So I can't really say shit. I just couldn't believe the guy touched my coat. Like he picked up my coat, he threw it, and just like when I asked him about it, he didn't try to sugarcoat it or anything. He was just like, no, I'm going to sit here, she's going to sit there, and we're going to watch from here. I was like, God damn. Is that like New York? That's like old New York? That's how people talk to each other? Or is that like just how, because you're old and you're impatient? Or I don't know. Like, I felt like I was getting shit from people or something. I'm not sure why. I don't know. I'm trying to keep my head and just keep my eye on the prize. And if I can build a TikTok following, it would help. It'd help me have leverage. But if I could become the Poet Laureate of TikTok, that's my new goal. Frankly Fabulous. The Poet Laureate of TikTok. So anyway, yeah, I just thought that was kind of funny. So I ride home my scooter, I come up, I load the footage, and like literally I was up to like 4 in the morning, like editing the footage, shaping it, rewatching it over and over and over again. Like I was just so like, because like I said, it reminded me of that one night in 2014 where I was editing this, maybe that was 2013. We edited this fucking holiday party, and it was just like, I was just like so in it that I was just like, I stayed up all night working, and the video just came together, and it was like this amazing, the video just had such like flow, and it was just beautiful. It was an amazing video. I think at the time we said it was like the best video we ever made, I'm sure that has since been obliterated, but that's kind of how I felt about how I was working on this Alice Notley reading. Was like I was up till 4 in the morning just because I was so hyped on the footage and just like trying to just like keep riding the energy and make all the good choices while I was in that state and while I was still kind of there, And so I just got the audio, so I'm gonna try and throw it together, and then send it out tomorrow. Hopefully I'll get to do this oral history, I would be nervous. I mean, talking to Alice Notley like would be a huge honor. I'd want to. I've been studying. I've ordered a lot of her books over the past few weeks. I got The Descent of Owlette coming. What was the one I recently got? In the Pines. I recently got that. That's like a novel, except it's in a poem. There's a ton of these books. I'm trying to think of the one that, God, there's a really cool one that I'm not remembering. Fuck. Came out recently, like in the last decade. I can't remember what it's called. But also her artwork, her Runes and Chords book that's coming out, her artwork is like some of the most incredible stuff she's ever made, to be honest. Like really hugely groundbreaking. The kind of synesthesia of the colors and the words and the picture drawings, really, really, really. She's doing it on an iPad. Like, how fucking dope is that? Like, she's absolutely, like, one of the greatest fucking magicians on planet Earth. No question. Like, it's just an honor to be in her presence. And, like, her poetry reading was the fucking goods, man. It was the fucking truth. Like, it was church, like, no, that's exactly what it is. This is the congregation, these are the conscientious listeners and sort of like digester processors of our world, of our English language, of our American, it's New York, it's sort of the best city in America, greatest city in the world. It's international, it's European, it's sophisticated, it's continental. as much as it's like, you know, sort of, I don't even know if I'd characterize it as being like American in a lot of ways. Does New York have a lot to do with like Amarillo, Texas in a certain way, I guess, but they're both kind of trading posts. There's some aspect of New York, and I think St. Mark's Church in particular, that is like Western and like kind of cowboy, and this is something Alice Notley alludes to, the kind of white trash. Like, she's from Needles, California, so she grew up. Her background and circumstances of how she grew up doesn't seem that different than like my dad's family in a lot of ways. People in the military, kind of rural, like hard up poverty, white people poverty, but like country, you know. But not entirely. Like, they're smart, and you know, she got the hell out of there, obviously. She got to New York as fast as she could. Mysteries of Small Houses, of course, is like an unbelievable masterpiece, one of my favorite books, because it's all about New York, and it's all about her marriage to Ted Berrigan and their kind of life together. And it's very autobiographical history. These are like concept books, you know. Every book is like a project, but they're made up of individual poems, a lot of them. They're incredible. I mean, there's a lot to study there. And it's all rigorous, and it's all thought out, and it's all incredibly the highest level. Like, to be honest, Alice Notley should have won the Nobel Prize in Literature, not Louise Glück. You know, I don't care. That's the truest thing I know. Like, Louise Glück is okay, but it's old-fashioned. It's not. Like, Alice Notley is actually writing, predicting future mainstreams. That's one of her lines. Predicting future mainstreams. Like, absolutely. She's been doing it since she started. Like, she's a highly, highly, highly acute, sensitive antenna of the race. So, I don't know. I'd like to be friends. She lives in Paris. I'm supposed to go speak at this conference in Paris next spring. I've got to get my passport together. Holy shit. You know, well, I mean, I don't know. I'm trying to make it right. You know, I'm trying to give myself a reason, because I don't want to be some imposter that, like, goes and speaks on this subject when I have no right to. You know, like, I'm just some guy that read about it, to be honest. I just read all the Daniel Cain books, and, you know, I work at the Poetry Project, and I get to film things like this, but I don't really have a whole lot of insider knowledge. I'm still kind of just this guy that is a volunteer there, more or less. And I've got my own life. I mean, this is what I want to get back to now, right? Is like, I mean, now they've got a pill with COVID that, like, literally it decreases your chance of hospitalization by like 90% or something. So, like, the pandemic is more or less over. Like, we might as well. Now I would like to stay in this apartment till the end of next year and just, like, live the fuck out of my life while I can, while I'm here, you know, while I'm in this place and while I have this unbelievable everything. It's like, now it's like we can be normal. Like, I want to do readings here. I want to get plugged into the scene. I need to get back into KGB and, like, start booking stuff and you know, figure out what my next publishing thing is going to be, and maybe figure out some kind of tour, right? And how can I do more with my show and my video? Like, now people kind of identify me, like, they know who I am. All I need to do is kind of turn around and be like, hey, like, I'm not the enemy. Like, my intentions are good. Like, I've got ideas. I just want to help. Like, I'm sorry that, like, I haven't really done this in, like, you know, a completely unawkward way, but, like, I think that like, there's a lot that we can do here, you know, as far as, like, just expanding the limits of poetry, really. and the audience hopefully too. So it's daylight savings time, so everything's an hour earlier. That's cool. Feels like, obviously it feels like 10, but it's only 9. It's just interesting how those are so different. 10 feels like, okay, now we can relax, late night, things are kind of unwinding, the kind of day is kind of melting, it's nightlife is starting to pop off. 9 feels like, okay, it's like people who work on Sunday are going to sleep, they're watching The Simpsons is over, and now X-Files is coming on, and so it's about time for bed, and you got to get up Monday morning to go to work and shit. So, I don't know, it's weird being psychologically in a blend of those time, mentalities. So, I don't know. Do I need to work harder on my writing, I guess? I need to work harder to get published. I'm trying to expand the video thing. I think that's my niche, and that's what I can sort of pioneer. So, if I can film, my heroes and put video interviews and there isn't really a whole lot of that, right? It's gonna be important, particularly these older poets and things. Like, having the video is like 30 years from now, it's really gonna be what people value. It's really going to be like what they go to be like, oh, there's that person, And I can film the whole reading and just like, and edit it like a concert film, like a Netflix special. Like, here's the fucking stand-up special of Alice Notley, right? Live in New York, live at St. Mark's Church. Here's the vibe, here's the atmosphere, just like fucking a George Carlin special from the 90s or something. Jamming on Broadway. Here's Alice Notley live at the church, Yeah, so I don't know. I mean, it's been quite a... Basically, since then, I've been taking it easy. I mean, it's Sunday. Has anything happened since then? I've been just basically, trying to recuperate and, getting slowly better. I mean, my insides hurt worse today than at any point yet, but my head's starting to feel better. I don't know what the next step is. I think I'm basically on break as far as my job, so that's why I have this sort of vacuum where I need to figure out some kind of like performance, right? I probably would like to do a reading here, maybe like a holiday party housewarming / reading / performance, I don't know who would come though. I don't have any friends at this point in the city. I kind of am down to just stay here for the holidays, to be honest. I'm, like, this is going to be probably my, it's definitely a guaranteed, like, uninterrupted Christmas here. And I'm just kind of digging just, like, being embedded in Manhattan and shit, So I think I'll probably just stay here, to be honest. My brother told me he's not going to buy presents, so maybe I'll try and take a trip back, I don't know, in the spring or something, I don't know. I was there for a whole fucking year, so I need to get back to water my money plant. I think that's one reason why the unemployment dried up, because my money plant hasn't been watering, which I left behind. I need to get my plants. I don't have any plants here. And there's some books and things I could get, But I'm kind of just digging just staying here. I don't really... I think it would be cool to spend Christmas here. Yeah, I don't know. I need to network better with my fellow poets. Get out more. Like I said, I've been a little bit lagging. I've been lost in this scooter tour where I've just been reading in public, and that's been kind of my... I haven't been paying a lot of attention to like anything official. I've really wanted to be outside and with the city and getting to know the city, seeing it, being out with the sun all day, the scooter, of course. I don't know. I mean, So like I said, my brother sent me a text that was like, you know, people get their teeth knocked out, people fucking, you know, hit their faces and shit. It felt like that could have happened to me. I thought the fucking handlebars like broke or something, you know, which if that happens, like, you're going down, there's nothing to stop you, you know. Like, even on a bike, I feel like there's kind of like, I don't know, there's a lot between you and the ground. The scooter, it's like you just boom. It's basically like a fucking skateboard, except you're putting your weight on these handlebars, which could snap. So I don't know. That may have been the end of my like honeymoon period with the scooter. I feel like I still will use it to kind of like, it's good to have to extend your reach. Like, going to the Brooklyn Book Festival on the scooter is awesome, or going to work on the scooter is cool. Going to Central Park, you know, is cool from time to time. You know, I can get to Central Park without even having to interact with cars hardly at all. Like, literally go up the bike path the whole way. You hardly ever even around a car, you know. So there's sort of things that you can do that are pretty safe. But I doubt if I'll just be kind of like joyriding every fucking day like I have been. That might be over. I don't know. You know, to be honest, I haven't been getting as much exercise as I should because I just get on the goddamn scooter. And it changes the way, like, even though your reach extends, you don't see things in as great of detail. Like, the first few months when I was walking around the village, I've kind of gotten back to that now that I'm off the scooter. So the winter will kind of be that, I think. Walking around and just kind of absorb. I can film more. I can't film while I'm on the scooter. That was probably a big mistake, was not getting a GoPro. The GoPro maybe would have upped my video shit. But it's already too late. I've already kind of done all the scooter riding without the GoPro. I tried to buy one on Craigslist. This guy was selling one for $100. And he had already sold it by the time I reached out to him. So I did try to get a GoPro. But, you know, all of the work that I've done the past month as far as riding the scooter around, seeing New York, and doing my readings in public, I didn't film any of it or record any of it at all. That was kind of part of it, was it was meant to be just this kind of, you know, just burn up, you know, and get used up in the performance. But now it's like I'm kind of behind in my TV show. I got to get some new episodes out there. I got to start editing the shit. I mean, I have been working on the poetry videos, so now I got a little gap in that time and I can sort of get back to my thing. And plus the weather's changing. So I've wanted to be outside, right? The weather's been really beautiful the last couple months. And just like, you knew it was kind of like the last of the good weather. So it's like, I wanted to be out riding that fucking scooter, reading my poetry to people in public. Like, it's felt, well, yeah, it's the last of a lot of stuff. The last of the unemployment and this and that. So it felt like something I could do that was sort of coming out of that energy. I can afford to just go out and read to nobody and ride my scooter around and do nothing and enjoy the weather, soak up the sun. But it was also a rehearsal and kind of a, just who knows what I was absorbing. You know, just having that experience was really special. Seeing the whole city, seeing the sunshine, seeing the trees, seeing the buildings, seeing the traffic and the people in Central Park and Midtown East and over by the UN and, you know, the Upper East Side, like I said. I mean, I've never spent a lot of time over there. Seeing where the Queensboro Bridge comes down and the fucking Queens Midtown Tunnel. That part of town is very interesting. Where the Queens Midtown Tunnel, that's some fucking crazy shit over there. You know, that's something you don't really see that much. Kips Bay is very cool. Over by Baruch College, all that area is very cool, I like. Murray Hill, Stuytown. Even getting over to East River Park, that whole path along the East River, I would never have done that on foot. I never have. I've never been over there, you know, in 10 years in New York. I've never seen that part of Manhattan. I've seen so much shit this year that I never saw in 10 years in New York because of the scooter, to be honest. Like, I never would have got to Sutton Place Park or East River Park. To be honest, it's not that easy to get to. You got to walk over the FDR, and you kind of have to live over there. Unless you live in the East Village, it's like half an hour, 45 minutes or something, you know. It's way off the train, for one thing. You know, Central Park, it's like certain parts of the train basically go straight there, you know. No, I mean, I love East River Park, don't get me wrong. I love it. I think they should keep it exactly as it is. We're lucky that it's like that. It really is a jewel, you know. And the fact that it's providing this oxygen, it's incredibly short-sighted. And people taking for granted nature, once again. Like the trees, it's not like this luxury. It's like we are relying on them. We're going to kill 1,000 of them. It makes no fucking sense. So, I don't know. I was fighting for the trees, to be honest, as much as anything. You know, I wasn't really going just to, like, cozy up to my hero or whatever. I was going to, like, because I believed in it. Going over to East River Park on my scooter and shit, like, it's an amazing place. It's gorgeous, and it's perfect how it is. Anybody that tells you different is a real estate investor. Like, they want to turn it into fucking Domino Park. They want to turn it into condos for rich people. Like, I don't know. That's a whole other topic. That's just kind of the city that we're moving into. The crypto influencer, 21st century. The metaverse. You know. You think people like Zuckerberg give a fuck at all about just ripping out any fucking thing in New York? I think, you know, New York is a place of constant change, but I think it should take a lesson from Europe and be like, you know what? Let's preserve this old shit. Like, we can build somewhere else if we want to build bigger and, you know. But, like, you go to Paris, France, like, fucking, the architecture, the selling point is that it's old. It's hundreds of years old, a lot of it. You can't make that anymore. You know, you get rid of it, it's gone forever. I think New York is just like the Village, right? There's this fucking guy, I mean, we need to rezone this shit so they can build higher because a lot of people want to live there and they need more units and shit. It's like, well, the reason people want to live there is because it's tiny and cute and human-sized, you know? It's actually functional. It's not like engineered by some fucking person trying to just make as much money as possible. Alright, well, that's my story for recently. That's the recent escapades. I met my hero. So that's the beginning. Hopefully that's only the beginning, you know? I'm hoping that's not the end. I tried, you know? I fucking tried. I did the best I could. I was positive. I was ready to say something, you know? I was this close to, like, as we were walking to the amphitheater, I kind of turned around and I was ready to be like, hey, so, and they kind of turned around away from me like they didn't want to talk, so I don't know. I don't know what was going on. I don't know who they thought I was or why they didn't like me, but hopefully in the future we can turn it around, and I don't know. I'm ready to blow up. I'm ready to make something happen. TikTok coming for you. And then I feel like if you build a TikTok following, then I can get live performances anywhere. If I could get even several thousand followers on TikTok, which seems doable maybe. Like I said, a couple of these posts, I got 60 likes on them, and I've been getting follows. It's not like Instagram where it's just like they're just completely depriving you. It's like they put your stuff in front of people. If people like it, then they show more people, you know. It doesn't feel like it's quite as oversaturated with content. So I don't know. I'll probably post as soon as I get off here. I'll try and think of something. I don't know. I'm doing the best I can to find my way in, you know. Now's the time. Like, I'm just trying to do it up as much as possible while maintaining kind of like a healthy rhythm. And so look for more exciting video stuff soon. Thanks for watching. This has been the Frankly Fabulous Video Diary. Late October, early November. We'll talk more soon.